Welcome to Big Apple Mountain Tarot and a new cycle. I'm Mike Rusnak.
I'm Everest Hall. Today, we're going to be talking to everyone out there about Neptune moving into Aries. This is pretty big news, and we've got all the information for you. If you like what we do and you like our videos,
Smash that like button.
please,
Hit subscribe.
please.
If you'd like us to do a reading for you, reach out and we'll do that.
Yeah, we do astrology and tarot for like 1 hour, and we have a great time. We have a lot of good information for everybody. But
For now, back to Neptune.
back to Neptune.
Neptune's ingress into Aries happens on the heels of the solar eclipse in Aries, which happened on the 29th. So
very
the
well put.
next day, Neptune went into Aries. And as it stands, the positioning is the same. So for each sign, we'll go through what this means for each sign. But this is a long cycle. It's a 14-year cycle, but undoubtedly an echo of the solar eclipse.
Neptune is a gas giant that is 3 billion miles from Earth. It's got a long orbit.
Subway doesn't go there.
Subway doesn't go there. If you can imagine the distant horizon and trying to see something on the distant horizon where the air is kind of breaking it up, and you're like, is that a UFO, or is that a plane, or is that a car? Is that kind of like nebulous?
Such a caveman. My God.
I know, I'm such a caveman.
So, and because it rules fog, confusion, nebulousness, watery energy, it rules prisons, right?
It sure does rule prisons.
Everything related to water, everything related to fluids, within our bloodstream.
Everything that's off-world.
Yeah.
Theater, media.
Illusions, media, theater. And it has left Pisces.
Right.
So Neptune, the modern ruler of Pisces, the ancient ruler was Saturn.
Correct.
But the modern ruler is Neptune. And it spent 14 years in Pisces. And what's gone on since 2011?
Right. Well, okay. So Pisces, if you imagine a school of fish, they all move together.
Yes.
In its most simple form, it's a school of fish. It's also the collective consciousness.
So it's groupthink.
Yeah.
And it's what is easy, right? And you don't want to stand out from the school of fish
because you'll be eaten.
Eaten by a bigger fish. Right?
There's a bit of complacency with Pisces.
Yes.
Especially with Neptune in Pisces. I kind of think the nonsense of when people get murdered and you send the
thoughts and prayers.
Yeah. That's that kind of hollow emotional
And Neptune has hovered at the anaretic degree of Pisces, and recently we've seen AI run amok. Right?
Bots amok.
Everyone seems to get their own version of facts and reality. Right?
Yep.
That's something new. We didn't even hear the term fake news before, say, 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
Well, Neptune moved into Pisces in 2011, not to get off track. But since 2011, is that right? 2011.
Yeah, that's right on track. Yeah.
2011, there has been this, not just like a group think and a complacency as far as compassion goes.
But you don't want to rock the boat.
No. But there's been this like putrid fog of misinformation
and easiness, and also spiritual quackery. Right? Spiritual quackery.
Said as astrologers. But it's true. There's been a lot of spiritual quackery. Yeah. With people just jumping on board.
We're not out for sainthood.
No, I'm not out for sainthood. I'm just doing this for a practice.
Oh, no.
But there's like this whole thing of like, I'm going to manifest.
Yeah, I know. Live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh, love crap.
Thoughts and prayers. It's all very easy for people. Yeah. Right?
It's easy to like punch that into a keyboard and then go about your day.
Now that Neptune is moving into Aries, I, Michael Rusnak, believe that it's a time that will empower each of us to become our own spiritual beacon.
Right.
To stand up, to find our own moment where we stand up and we rattle the cage which imprisons us.
Aries is cardinal energy.
It's power.
There's Aries doesn't overthink their actions. They work with what's happened, and they kind of like work with your actions.
Raw energy.
Raw energy, raw power. It's war.
Yeah. This is Al Smith standing up at the State of the Union and getting kicked out
Yeah.
of the chamber.
Yeah.
This is Cory Booker standing up and blowing Strom Thurmond's record for speaking on the Senate floor out of the water.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. But this is what's going on. And it's because of Neptune in Aries, I believe.
So the energy, if you could imagine like Neptune being this real, imaginative, spiritual, gassy energy. And then in Aries, there is this heroic journey, this spiritual warrior, this
I will go to prison for my own beliefs.
martyrdom. The way
Yes.
Cory Booker sacrificed himself in that 25-hour speech is a martyrdom of a spiritual warrior.
There's going to be little room for victimhood. Victimhood has been the story for the past 14 years. It's been like, oh my God.
That's Neptune
what's
and Pisces.
happened to me. Look, and scapegoating, right?
That's the story that we're telling our group collective to get an emotional response.
Now, you add Saturn into the mix too.
Yes.
Saturn and Neptune they are in conjunction now. The conjunction will be more exact in August, and then they'll both retrograde back into Pisces, and then we'll move into 2026 with Saturn, Neptune in Pisces again. Then they'll move forward, and once again, they'll be exact on February 20th, 2026. But when Saturn and Neptune get together, Saturn in Aries is in its fall.
Yes.
So Saturn wants to create structure, but it's desperate. And the story of Saturn and Aries is at least we're building something, right? At least we're getting something done.
But I think Saturn in its fall in Aries is showing the cracks of what wasn't properly done.
Built, right.
So if you are like a government official and talking on an Signal chat that is hacked by every damn person in the world,
and all your emails are based in Russia anyway.
We're going to find out because Saturn is there to prove the bad workmanship.
Speaking of Russia, Saturn was last in Aries in 1997, April 1997 to February of 1999, which directly precedes Putin's rise to power. So this is his special made Saturn return.
God bless.
In Aries. Good luck.
Good luck, Mr.
It will
Putin.
test you to see if what you built was solid or was it desperate.
Are there cracks in the foundation? If there's cracks in the foundation, it will fall apart.
The last time Neptune was in Aries was 1861 to 1875. That's during the Civil War.
Right.
And that's civil rights, inequality, and spiritual leaders and martyrs.
Martyrs and heroes standing up for spiritual beliefs.
Yes, but as power starts to slip, you will see the scapegoating, right? It's the gays and it's the brown people. And it's always the gays and it's always the brown people and it's always the women.
It's always the women and the gays and the brown people. And
it will ring more hollow.
Yeah.
Other times in history where we've had Saturn, Neptune conjunct. 1917.
Russian Revolution.
They were both conjunct in Leo for the Bolshevik Revolution. 1952 and 1953, we saw the death of Joe Stalin and the end of the Korean War. 1968 and 69, civil rights. Again, 1989, they were conjunct in Capricorn, and that was the fall of the Berlin Wall.
One of my favorite moments.
Yeah. because of that Scorpion song.
Exactly.
With the whistling. And Tiananmen Square.
And then also 1703.
This is when Saturn and Neptune were conjunct in Aries. It was in 1703. And here in America, we were just 13 fledgling colonies, which,
But there was another group in America in 1703.
the Native American Indians.
The Native Americans. So
and that must have felt like the world was irrevocably changing.
Which is the point of what we're talking about. That the world is irrevocably changing, and we're here to explain it.
Did we show the cards?
We didn't show the cards yet. But we were kind of like going through all these conjunctions, and we were like looking at the 1703 one. And I was going through all the dates, and I was like, what the heck happened? And then I was like, oh my God, of course, it's the
Their
colonization
world was being invaded
Yeah.
by these outsiders with
Yeah.
ships.
The Europeans had been in Americas for a while, but it was at this point that it really started to amp up and move forward, and the country turned into something else.
We're going to see more prison populations being used as warriors during this time.
And we're going to see prisons used politically for divisive intentions.
Yeah. But in a time where heroes are scarce and, time is marching on and people are passing away and it's very sad and very helpless, well, we have that light within us to stand up and be that change, and be that hero, be that warrior. Really do it.
Stand up. No, stand up and
yesterday,
scream.
I said, what time is it? It's only 3:00 in the afternoon. Time is going so slowly.
So
I feel
slowly.
so energized, and it just feels like things are so slow now.
So
What
slow.
a difference between a few days ago and today.
I'm not like a particularly sensitive person to ghosts and spirits and all that, but I feel a definite shift in the energy. And yesterday I was just sad in this way I've never been sad before. It was really hard to get over it.
It's that anaretic degree.
It was that anaretic degree, and it was that shift of that fog and that confusion, but trying to like do something and not be able to like do anything except to voice that I was very sad.
Yeah.
And that helped. That really helped. But we're gonna show two tarot cards that are kind of representing the planets we're talking about. Here we go.
Saturn, limitations, boundaries.
Yeah. So see how she is ringed with that circle? Saturn is the traditional end of our universe. It's what we visually can see as the furthest distance. So this has to do with boundaries and restrictions. And then, oh my gosh, wrong side.
Confusion.
The moon card. This is the card for Pisces, which Neptune rules. It has a lot to do with
Our altered visions.
Yeah, altered visions. This is happening during an eclipse, and things are really confusing to see. If you can imagine walking, in moonlight.
On drugs.
On drugs. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Neptune has to do with drugs and addiction and escapism and fantasy. So we have fantasy and illusion and fog and confusion, but there's structure. And there's boundaries, and there's limitations.
Saturn combined with Neptune is asking, where do I break down to build anew?
Yeah.
Where? And Saturn, yes, you will be urged to build, to nail things down, to get things right. Take your time. Take your time. Make sure that the foundation that you're building is stable, because it will be tested.
It will be tested because Saturn is that taskmaster, that tough teacher that actually goes through your homework and goes through the proofs and then like nitpicks.
And from now until the spring of 2026, that anaretic degree of Pisces and that beginning of Aries, you will feel this. So Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, if you're born at the beginning of your sign, you will feel this acutely. You will feel intensely pressured by these energies. Not to fret.
Not to fret. If you feel sad and confused and foggy and you can't sleep, it's okay. These will pass.
And we were trying to tie the stock market tanking to the astrology. And
Venus is in retrograde.
And it's being washed out by all these other planets. So Saturn is 24 degrees Pisces, Venus 28 degrees Pisces, retrograde, North Node is 27 degrees. Mercury is 27 degrees retrograde Pisces. We have a number of planets at 24 or more of their sign, adding to the finality of this moment.
And it is a finality. I mean, we're talking about restructuring global markets. There's war on the horizon. China was circling around Taiwan the other day.
Yes.
There's probably going to be a war with Iran. We've moved all the bombers over to, you know, the Indian Ocean. You know,
It's war at sea.
It's war at sea.
Yeah.
Things are really coming to a head right now.
Let's go sign by sign.
But yeah, okay.
For Aries and Aries rising, this
Yes.
energy, this 14-year transit, and with Saturn in there too, this is hitting your first house. It's all about you and a dissolving of who you were.
Yes.
And a lot of scapegoat energy for you too. So don't be surprised if you're trying to remake how you operate.
And people are freaking out and blaming you.
If people bother you about that, right?
Yeah, it's a dissolving and a restructuring
And
of
with-
everything about you.
With Neptune and Saturn combined, there's like a weakening of your resolve. So it's going to take a little bit of extra energy to create some kind of new routine for yourself. Deepen your intuition, create actively now. Learn how to be discerning though.
Yes. Discernment.
In your diet and in your whole environment, everything that you take into yourself, everything that you look at and absorb.
You're right.
Just think about that and weigh it.
Like the music you listen to, the TV you watch, it affects you.
Yeah. And Saturn in Aries takes responsibility. And for those in power who are not taking responsibility right now, it will just show like a sore thumb. Saturn in Aries needs to say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Let's get this correct.
And there's a certain amount of spiritual accountability that is coming to a head right now. For whatever reason,
It's karmic.
This is karmic stuff. Now, I'm going to go on a little tangent. Scientology is being sued. There's a lot of court cases. There's 3 major court cases against Scientology right now.
Not just Scientology, there are about 13 priests and ministers in this country who've been charged with sexual
But
with
if you
abuse.
notice, it's not in the media.
Well, the Scientology's
The Scientology stuff is not in the media.
It's been scrubbed.
It's been kind of Neptune has put a fog on it as the accountability is coming in.
Let's just talk quickly about music too.
Yeah.
Because Neptune rules inspiration, right?
Yeah.
And Neptune has been in Pisces for the past 14 years. Music has become a bit washed out and whispery.
There's this beta kitten voice that's coming out.
This Sabrina Carpenter, it's Taylor Swift. It's
love Taylor Swift,
oh,
but-
it's great, it's okay, but it's just been a lot of this like watery
Auto-tuning.
auto-tuned, and not really able to hear distinct instrumentation. Or
Can I go back to that word
arrangement.
discernment?
Yes.
There's no discernment in the music on the radio now.
I think that with Aries,
Yeah.
with Neptune and Aries, we're going to see music become a little bit punchier.
Yeah.
A little more teeth.
a little bit punk.
harder. Yeah.
Yeah, a little more aggressive. Taurus.
Taurus. For Taurus and Taurus rising, this energy transits your 12th house. So this is your house of seclusion. You were learning to let go of bad behaviors. You're letting go of even past life work, stuff that you came into this world with that is now starting to dissolve, right? So think about that dissolving. And
it's also like a dissolving of perhaps your belief systems within your subconscious. You might be doing things that seem a little strange. Like, why am I doing this and why am I feeling that? Because your subconscious is being rebuilt. And
this energy relates to prisons and hospitals and spiritual retreats. Dream actively. Don't worry about prisons and hospitals. Don't worry about that. But it relates to those secluded spaces, and those foxhole prayers that you have. Like when you're really in trouble, when you really have nowhere else to go, and you're like, oh, please get me out of this.
Dear whatever, please help.
But paranormal activity too.
Sure.
It's off-world.
Sure.
Right? And
It's high strangeness.
High strangeness, and that's hard for a Taurus because they're earth energy.
Yeah.
But think far outside of your realms of comfort. Okay. For Gemini rising, this is your 11th house, right? Friends, networks, also high strangeness within your social networks.
So 11th house is Aquarius. It's ruled by Uranus. It's very eccentric. These are the quirks of our personality and kind of like the individual self. Yeah. And, this is like what makes us an individual within our friendships and within our groups. And
because it's Neptune, we're asking, where do I dissolve in order to rebuild? Where do I let go? Be very discerning in shedding old friends that don't serve you at all. Who are your heroes? Who are your heroes? And who hasn't really served you well? So beware and discern. For Cancer
rising.
and Cancer rising, it's your 10th house.
That's your place in the world, your career.
It's breakdowns in order to break through. If you're building a new business, you got to dissolve your old boundaries.
Correct. The whole concept of you as a public person is changing. It's becoming a little bit foggier and disintegrating and being rebuilt.
And take ideas that were very personal to you, like matters of your faith, and try to blend that into your career. Try to bring those ideas in, very personal spaces. Bring that into your career somehow.
And nurture everybody as you do that.
For Leo rising, this is about dissolving old dogmas, old spiritual principles or philosophical ideas that not everything is as it seems to be for you.
This 9th house of higher beliefs, also long distance travel.
And the old rules no longer apply here, right? So this is a deep dive into study. You'll benefit from study, something new.
Study and travel.
Yes. Go deep into the murk to find those revelations. Reach out to wild new horizons, Leo. Go wildly outside of your comfort zone.
Right.
Speak with someone that you never even dreamed you could speak with. Find closer connections within your networks of friends. Link your networks closer together. For Virgo rising, this is your 8th house. So this is about deep regeneration.
Yeah. So 8th house, Scorpio, sex, death, and other people's money.
It's also about seeking therapy.
Yeah. Also, occult matters, things that are hidden. Deep woo-woo magical energy, real high strangeness as far as supernatural activity. There might be spirits visiting us. Off-world stuff, aliens coming in, and but more terrestrially,
financial rejuvenation,
clearing
up the fog around money, money,
and the money that has to do with inheritance with other people. This isn't the money that you're earning yourself,
but others' economies,
but what you're coming through other people, through marriages and relationships.
Speaking of relationships, for Libra, it's your 7th house. So it's a 14-year cycle. It's a long
cycle.
Relationships will get very
strange.
Yeah.
There will be.
It's about personal accountability. Use Saturn. Saturn is in your opposite sign. It's in its fall.
Right.
So it's very uncomfortable, but it's about taking accountability. You could be the strongest fulcrum point, right?
Fulcrum
of the scales.
Right.
If you're able to do that, take accountability.
And now, so Libra, balancing, trying to find the balance with everybody and being like really political, not to use that word, but like, with everybody and trying
diplomatic.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Diplomatic.
Diplomatic. Yeah. But perhaps this is a time over the next 14 years where you feel the urge to really stand up and be like, hey,
this is where I end and this is where you begin.
And this is what I think needs to happen.
And I don't need to think that way because I could understand your way of thinking, but I don't have to be that. I have to be myself, my own fulcrum.
Right.
For Scorpio, this is your 6th house. So this is about health and routines and service. So open up to new realms to build new regimens.
Yeah. It's a daily routine. It's a big cycle for a daily routine and for health.
And a non-physical component may be missing in your life, right? Mm-hmm. So that's psychological breakthroughs, right?
And I think like when in doubt, as far as this transit in 6th house, try and be of service. Mm-hmm. If things are really coming down on you, feel really like
just get your
oppressed.
Mind out of your own self. Help someone else.
Volunteer.
Right?
Because part of this energy is like heroic. Mm-hmm. It's spiritual warrior.
It's spiritual. It's opening up. It's going your own way. And it's not opening yourself up to a committee. Neptune and Aries, it's not waiting for the school to move. It's saying, I'm going myself.
Right. Or I'm going to like volunteer at the homeless shelter.
I'm just going to see.
Just to help people, just help people. Mm-hmm. Scorpio is such a healing, and they get like this rap of being like really dramatic, which they are, but they're also like dramatic because they're frustrated that you're not healing yourself, that you're not like...
And they understand the brute reality of existence.
They sure
They
do.
know life is pain and shit and sex and death. And they're dark and honest like that.
Right.
Yeah, but we can wear ourselves out that way. By being too dark. We have to temper
Scorpio.
Yeah, so Sagittarius, this is your 5th house. This is old rules surrounding your ideas of joy. It's challenging energy, challenging around maybe your kids.
Children. So children are in the 5th house because it's a creative house, and it's the joy you receive from creation. Mm-hmm. So the 5th house is like creating art, creating children, creating beauty.
Entrepreneurship.
It's also being on stage. It's the joy you get from the response of people by being positive and being generous. Mm-hmm. When in doubt, be generous.
Be childlike.
Be generous.
Understand the rules around joy.
Yeah.
14 years. A long time.
5th house is also a money and a career house.
It's romance.
Oh, it sure is romance. So there's romance and career and joy going in here for you.
Mm-hmm. So it's relationships, it's children, it's creativity though. Rules around creativity and who you are as a creator in your life. For Capricorn, this is your 4th house. It's about home, property, inheritance, real estate.
Nurturing.
Go slow, take very small steps in creating structure.
Yeah.
Right?
And you've had this like 4th house energy.
Been a lot of 4th house for you.
It's been a lot of 4th house. It's uncomfortable because it's your opposite sign, and you have to kind of tackle like not being in the outside of the home and doing your career, but focusing on the house and how we
being
take care
nurturing and being soft but firm but parental, right? At home.
Aquarius.
This is about your 3rd house. And for you, this signifies negative self-talk.
Yeah.
Difficulty discerning your own information diet.
Yeah.
Like how you absorb online information, what you do with that. This is about finding balance and maintaining technological health at rest.
It sure is. Also, siblings. This is stoop energy. This is all the neighborhood sitting on the stoop, gossiping and, talking.
It's a personal message to you to deepen your soul connections. Okay. And finally, Pisces, this is your 2nd house. It's about finances, family, your property, your roots, where you've come from.
Yeah. How you feed yourself, literally, but also metaphorically. The values that we consume to support our soul.
And ideas around luxury and comfort, and how to dissolve those old ideas that aren't serving anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my idea of comfort 10 years ago is very different from my idea of comfort
100%.
today. Today, it's just like a nice soft chair in a warm room.
Well, I also like today versus like 2 years ago is a different complete philosophy that we have about comfort.
Yeah.
We're a little bit more comfortable.
Like, I just don't want to go insane every day. That's all. keep it simple.
Yeah, keep it simple.
Yeah.
Second house, it's money. It's also it's really like your values.
It's about not succumbing to fear, and it's about understanding your values. You're understanding money as your voice, right?
What do you support financially? Does the companies that you spend money with, do they line up with your spiritual ideas on what reality should be? Mm-hmm. You can make decisions with your money, and it really affects the world. Mm-hmm. Your $5 can change the world. $2 can change the world. A quarter. All that energy, money is energy, and it's belief, and it's part of you. And you can affect the world.
And every time you spend it, you're using your voice.
Yeah.
And then that has to sit with you.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with where that's sitting or not?
The world is in big darkness, but we can literally spend our cash where we want to and use it as a tool, as a heroic tool for justice. There you go. Okay.
So that concludes our talk about Neptune in Aries with Saturn in Aries. Saturn will be there for 2.5 years. So this time from here through 2027, 2028 will be more intense, right?
It'll be more intense.
There will be a lot more erupting on the world stage, of course.
Things will fall apart. The holes, the cracks in the structures will be shown. And it will be rebuilt.
Spiritual empowerment, though. Think about how to be your own spiritual warrior, right?
Yes.
You could do it.
And with that, we love you.
Love you very much.
Thank you for spending time with me. If you made it, and Mike, if you made it this far, we really appreciate it. Thank you for the likes and comments.
Like button.
Thank you. Bye.